Good morning, boys and girls. I hope my computer doesn't go kaplooey like it seemed to do just a moment ago. Hopefully, we'll actually get through this whole lesson without my computer going, wah! So we are studying history. Oh my goodness. This is chapter 39. Here's our book, A Child's History of the World. I've written some Latin up here, in hoc signo vinces, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let me get started reading, and then I'll show you some pictures of someone that was very cool in history. The name of the story I'm going to put at the end, for you wouldn't know what it means anyway until you've heard the story. Well, I've already told you. All through the years since Jesus was crucified, some people who said they believed in Christ had been terribly treated. That's called persecuted. They went through persecution. They were Christians. They had been flogged, which means beaten. They had been stoned. They had been torn with iron hooks. They had been roasted and burned to death, which we talked about the last time. Yet, strange as it may seem, in spite of this terrible treatment, more and more people were becoming Christians every day. They believed so strongly in life after death, in heaven, and they believed that they would be so much happier in heaven after death that they, if they died for Jesus' sake, they seemed even glad to suffer and to die and to be killed because they knew they were going to heaven to be with Jesus. So at last, the emperor himself of Rome, which we've been talking about, put a stop to all these persecutions. And this is how that happened. So it's about the year 300 AD. Now, the last that we had talked about was 70 AD when Jerusalem fell, and 79 AD when Pompeii was covered in ash by Mount Vesuvius. So we're talking, at least 200 years since then. Rome had an emperor by the name of Constantine. And Constantine was not a Christian. His gods were the old Roman gods, Jupiter and Mercury, what we call planets today. He probably did not put much faith in them. Well, once upon a time, Constantine was fighting with an enemy. And when he dreamed one night, and he saw in the sky a flaming cross. Beneath this cross were written the Latin words, in hoc signo vinces. In English, that means, in this sign thou shalt conquer. So Constantine thought, well, that might mean that if he carried the Christian cross into a battle, he would conquer. So, and he was fighting against, I think it was Licinius, the emperor of the western part of Rome, because it had kind of split up by now. He thought it would at least be worthwhile to give the Christian God a try. So he put the sign of the cross on all the shields carried by his soldiers. So he put the cross, he painted the cross, the sign of the cross, okay, on the shields. And of course, he won the battle. Yes, Snowflake, I cannot rub you right now, but thank you for interrupting my lesson. Okay, where was I? So anyway, he won the battle, and to celebrate his victory, the Roman Senate, they built this Arch of Constantine, a triumphal arch with 3 openings in the Forum of Rome. And guess what? It's still there today. So I'm going to show you a picture of that because it is really cool. Let's see if I can see it sideways. There we go. You see that? That is what the Senate built when Constantine won the battle. They were so excited. And then, not Keanu Reeves. That's a different Constantine. All righty, here's another picture. you need to hush. There we go. Snowflake she's very, what's the word? Jealous? Yes, hush. And you can, there you go. It's kind of a better picture of it today. All right, so they built the arch, and after this, Constantine made Christianity the legal religion of Rome, of the whole Roman Empire. It's believed that he was baptized just before he died. He was in battle, and he fell ill, and he was trying to get back home, but he knew he was not going to make it, so he stopped, and the troops, and he was baptized, and then he died. From that time on, all the Roman emperors who came after Constantine, except for one, were Christians. Now, Constantine's mom, her name was Helena. She became a Christian, and then she gave her life to Christian works, and she built churches. And she built a church in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. She built a church on the Mount of Olives, where Jesus prayed. And it is even said that she went to Palestine and she found the very cross that Jesus was crucified upon, and 300 years before, and she sent part of it to Rome. When she died, she was made a saint by the Catholic Church, and so now they call her Saint Helena. So Constantine built a church over the spot where St. Peter was supposed to have been crucified, and many years later, his church was torn down so that they could make an even bigger church. And I'm going to try to get a picture of that too. Of course, I can't do that while I'm... There we go. And yep, remember, St. Peter was crucified upside down because he did not feel worthy to be crucified right side up like Jesus was. And so St. Peter, in honor of St. Peter, Constantine built this church, and we have St. Peter's Basilica today. And I'm going to show you a picture of that if my phone will wake up. Which it really doesn't want to do. And this is a beautiful church. Let's see. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, nothing technologically sound wants to work today. So Constantine did not care for Rome. He wanted to live in another city in the eastern part of the Roman Empire. This city was called Byzantium. So he moved from Rome to Byzantium and made that city his capital. Byzantium was called New Rome, and then the name was changed to Constantine's city. Now, in Greek, the word for city is Polis, polis. In English, that's city. We see the word used in Annapolis and Indianapolis because it means city. But Constantine's city became Constantinopolis, and then it was shortened to Constantinople. Here is finally St. Peter's Church. Is it not beautiful? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. That's the inside. And see if I can get you the outside. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. So Constantinople, hardly had the Roman Empire become Christian before an argument rose between the Christians who believed one thing and those who believed another. Now, the chief thing that they were arguing about was whether or not Christ was equal to God the Father, or if he's not equal to him. Now, Constantine called these two disagreeing sides together, and he said, look, we got to get this straight. We don't want you guys fussing about this. So he called a meeting at Nicaea to settle the question. And the leaders of each side argued their points, and it was a long argument. I'll just say that. Finally, it was decided that the Christian church should believe that God the Son and God the Father were equal. And then they agreed to put what they believed in words, and this is called a creed, which means believe, because it was made at Nicaea, and it's known as the Nicene Creed, which a lot of Christians still say in church, like every Sunday. So if I can find it, I will try to read you that. We'll see if I actually can find it again. Before the time of Constantine, there were no weekly holidays in the Roman Empire, and Sunday was just a day like any other day. People worked or did just the same things on Sunday as they did on other days. So Constantine thought Christians should have one day a week for the worship of God, a holy day. So holy day, that's where we get the word holiday from, like Christmas and Easter and all that. So the holy day was going to be Sunday. So that would be the day of rest, a holy day. Now, the Jewish people, they have their Sabbath, their holy day where they worship God on Saturday, their Sabbath. But Constantine said Christians should have a day of rest because it's in the Bible. God wants you to have a day of rest. So he declared that day Sunday. And that's why we go to church on Sunday, because of Constantine. Although Constantine was head of the Roman Empire, there was another man whom all Christians throughout the world looked to as their spiritual head. This man was the Bishop of Rome, and in Latin he was called Papa, which means the same thing in Latin that it does in English, father. So the Bishop of Rome was called Papa, but that became Pope. St. Peter was supposed to have been the first bishop of Rome, and for many centuries the Pope was the spiritual ruler of all Christians everywhere, no matter in what country you live. The Pope was the father of the whole Christian church for many, 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 many years. And today, the Catholic Church still looks to the Pope as their spiritual father. All right, I'm going to, here we go, show you a couple pictures of Constantine. Here's one picture. Let's see if I can find another. They have some in stone. Constantine the Great. And they look, some of them look a little bit different. This one in sculpture. It looks a little bit like Rocky Balboa in that picture, don't you think? Anyway, so that's really the story of Constantine the Great, who created Constantinople, and he changed the Roman Empire by becoming a Christian and by making Christianity legal in the Roman Empire. So no longer were the Christians persecuted. So that's why Constantine is important. All right, see you soon.